There are a total of 4 resonances in Tower of Fantasy, and by equipping your weapon, it will decide what resonance you will be. These resonances provide passive buff for both single player experience and team play such as dungeons and raid runs. This guide is more helpful for F2P players and Dolphin players, as seriously, Whales or Leviathan can easily just solo the entire game, which makes the experience less fun. We have the balanced resonance, which is pretty much not recommended to follow, Fortitude, also known as Tank, Attacker as DPS, and Benediction as Healer. These are the closed beta test 2 names, so I do not know if they will change it when the global launch, but either way I don't think it's gonna affect much. Keep in mind that each weapon belongs to a resonance. I'm going to give you an example so it's way easier to understand. If I wish to be a Fortitude aka Tank, all I have to do is equip 2 weapons that falls under the resonance Fortitude. There you go, I got the buff now. Each of these resonance will have its own effect for the open world experience, but more effect on the team play. If you don't know what team play is, they mention it in the CP2 right below. It says such as Joint Operation, Void Rift, Dimension Drought, Frontier Clash, and raids. Now we will go through each of them, how to properly play them, and what's the best weapon and matrices I recommend. I will not go details for the weapon, and as for the matrices, I have a matrices video coming up, so keep in mind I will not be talking about that as well. I will also not talk about future character that much and future matrices as well, as I fear that there has been rumors that Global might have a lot of changes to them. Let's talk about Fortitude or aka Tank build. To follow, kindly just equip 2 Fortitude weapon that falls under that resonance. You receive 25% damage less and also 60% increase in shattering enemy shield, which leaves them stunned for a period of time in case you forgot. Best thing of all, you have 800% aggro, meaning monster is definitely going to target you instead of your friend unless you have another tanker. In team play, you receive total of 45% damage less from enemy. The boss mobs are most likely to target you, so your job as a tank or Fortitude is to make sure that AoE or one-shot attack does not kill your party member. If you are a weak tank, do not hesitate to let a healer support you, nothing to be ashamed of. As a tank, Whale does not need you as they have money that is more way dependable to help them clear dungeons, so it's very sad. And this is why I urge a lot of people that do not worry about being a F2P. It's actually way more fun. The Whale will be missing out on the fun. Now as for weapon, I highly recommend Zackie-Senpai falling under the tank resonance because you'll be able to pull mobs with your skill and also activate lifesteal. Mariel, cause you know, she is literally the best shatter. And as for Huma, when you hold charge attack during the shield form, you'll be holding this shield position and you'll receive 50% less damage, but only for about 5 seconds if I'm not mistaken. Lyra, because she'll build up with the aura, but Lyra is still new, so I didn't really go through her skill set and translate it, so you'll have to wait for that. I'm sorry, but from what I know, look at that insane shield regeneration. I could put Mark, but you know, we don't know if we'll get him on global, and Freak due to no knockback with the Simulaga threat and unlimited dash to dodge attack, because dodging is honestly way better. And of course, if I'm in dodging, I will also have to include Ling as you stay on the air most of the time and they cannot attack you. As for matrices, I recommend 4-0 or 2-0, Mariel times 2, but there is a cooldown of 2 minutes, and times 4 if you are a Mariel main, but again, we're not gonna wail on it. King times 4 if you're a tank, and Huma times 4. Now I will mention it, I will not go through matrices that detailed in this because this is basically focusing on the roles and build of the each resonance, so I will cover the matrices on my next video, so if you want to keep up with it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Next, we'll talk about the attacker build, aka the DPS build. To follow this resonance, just equip 2 attacker DPS weapon. Attacker has an increase of 10% for final damage, but in team play, a total of 40%. The keyword here is final damage, meaning last hit of your combo, which means this is more useful when you activate your skills or your ultimate or your discharge skill, because these skills will hurt 40% more in dungeon. So your job here in the dungeon or the run or the raid, whatever you're in, is to make the run much faster, as some of them has a timer. Your key job is to stay out of the hell the way from your tank and try not to die, because if you die, they can still go on, but the dungeon will be a lot more slower. So yeah, don't die. really nothing much to talk about the attacker. I think your role is very simple. Don't die, dodge the attack, don't get in the way of the tanker, and just deal more damage. So the weapon I recommend are basically any weapons, as I know that a lot of people are gonna play with whatever they get, and in the future if they save or if they are Dolphin, Battle Pass, Money Pass, they will have their own playstyle. As for matrices, I recommend having 2 Tsubasa, but 4 if it will trigger a headshot effect, 2 pieces of Shiro, but only if you don't have anything better, Samir times 2, but if you're gonna main Samir, then maybe times 4, King times 2, and times 4 if it will allow you to heal, which is not so bad. Crow times 2, because easily Crow is one of the best. I will make a tier list for that, but I will talk about it as here. As times 4 will give you insane high critical damage. Once triggered, it will trigger damage over time. Huma times 2 for damage over time for 5 seconds. Times 4 is much for a tanker. Claudia times 2 for mid-air attackers such as King or Sakifua. Cobalt B times 2 for fire element, mainly because it will burn, and with higher fire attack damage, it will hurt more over time. Times 4 will be more useful. I will leave it in the screen, just read it yourself. As for gears for DPS or attackers, it really comes down to what kind of element you play, and then also focus on critical damage. In this game, we cannot focus on critical rate if I'm not mistaken, so just fix your critical damage and your elemental attack damage. That's it. The last we'll be talking about is the Benediction. The last we'll be talking about is their Benediction Resonance, which is aka your healer. I honestly don't like this pronunciation. I'll just call it healer. It's way simpler to pronounce. I tie up my tongue every time. This is like the 5th time I pronounce it at these videos. So to follow Benediction, aka healer, just equip 2 healer weapons. In the open world, you have 100% healing increment, but in team play, dungeon play, a total of 200% increase of your healing. Your job is to watch out for your tanker, mostly 80% keep on your tanker, and 20% on your DPS. Sometimes mistakes do happen. Be sure to get close, but not too close to your tanker, because some bosses has a one-shot hit in the dungeon, and if you die, tanker is gonna have a little bit of a problem if they do not build lifesteal, so yeah. Sometimes boss also have a one-shot skill that doesn't allow you to rest your tanker, so once that tanker is down, they're gone, so you have to keep their health always at 100%. Healer is very useful in dungeon, especially yearly or even in future content, as they have 200% additional healing buff. Again, they will be very useful in world bosses as well. Again, Whale does not need you as well, as they can solo the dungeon, so I think this role thing is actually quite more fun when you don't wheel on the game. I mean, it's okay to be like decent wheel, but if you max everything, then I seen it. I pair up with any whale, the dungeon just wasn't fun at all. As for weapon, I do recommend 0, but you need 2 copy of him. If you get him 2 copy, that's fine. Nemesis, because in Taiwan page they have confirmed she will be the first banner, and a lot of people, a lot of rumors saying that she will be coming out global as the first banner. She is the best healer out of Coco and 0, and as for, Coco as well, Coco is really great. I think she is, I would say she would be on par with Nemesis. Nemesis is a little bit siding to the DPS, but Coco is siding to the stun because she can freeze enemy, but also heal, but she has a lesser AoE compared to Nemesis. As for matrices, I recommend times 2 Coco or times 4 Coco for attack buff, Nemesis times 2 for healing, but if you have a teammate or a friend that is Thunder or Bolt build, then maybe you can go times 4, but times 4 is kind of expensive, right? As for gears, I know a lot of people are gonna confuse. Okay, this is how healing works. 0 healing will increase as his attack increase. Coco healing will increase as her attack increase. Nemesis as well. But do you build physical attack or do you build the elemental attack? Now here's my proof. I have tried out with a build with ice, and I actually healed, I think you can see it in the image, right? I really can't remember. I think it's more than 10,000 or 20,000, and without the ice weapon I actually only healed just a few thousand. So for healers, just focus on your elemental attack, don't go for physical. Okay, I already mentioned I will not go through the matrices here, but just as a summary, as I'll be making a tier list of talking about the matrices and where to get them and all those easy things. I know a lot of content creators that talk about them, that's why I haven't prioritized as my main content to be making. But if you want to see me talk about the matrices and what I think about them, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel and stay with me. Thank you all so much for watching. Zackie-Senpai here, and 7 days left till global release. I'm sorry I'm not singing in these videos. Hey, it's just a gaming channel.